Lesotho will help your business grow. Lesotho has preferential access to major export markets, including the USA and the EU. Our workforce is literate, hardworking, easily trained, and speaks English. Our labor rates are highly competitive. Our people are friendly and hospitable. The country is a safe and secure place in which to work and relax. The Lesotho government offers tax incentives, including corporate tax of just 10%. The Lesotho National Development Corporation exists to partner you on your investor journey. Please contact them. Their experts are waiting to advise you on how to make your growth plans a reality. Lesotho has a strong agricultural base and enjoys a microclimate that allows crops to ripen earlier than in South Africa. Our rural workforce is highly experienced in agriculture. Lesotho's clean environment is an excellent place in which to grow organic produce, cannabis for medicinal use, and herbs and spices. We're known for the purity of our water supplies. We've identified nearly 40 projects in the sector. Lesotho has tremendous potential as a tourism destination. Superb, unspoiled mountain scenery, a pristine environment, and opportunities to practice a wide range of outdoor adventure sports, contact with our unique African culture. We also offer an unusual and cost-effective location for the business conference sector. So why not consider investing in our tourism sector? There are opportunities to strengthen our tourism infrastructure, especially the construction or refurbishment of tourism lodges or the creation of new visitor attractions. In all, around 20 investment potential opportunities to strengthen
please
our
bear with us.
tourism
We will start shortly. In the next 5 minutes, in fact 4 minutes, we will commence. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Greetings from the Kingdom of Lesotho. My name is Marina Bizabani from the Lesotho National Development Corporation. The Lesotho National Development Corporation is the national development agency of the Kingdom of Lesotho, tasked with the mandate of initiating, promoting, and facilitating investment in Lesotho. Mine is an easy task this morning, really just to direct our program, but we have very good things in store, and we invite you to experience elevation. I know that should spark some curiosity in terms of what is that elevation about. But we will discover as we continue. Our program this morning will entail an exposition of investment opportunities in Lesotho. We will endeavor to answer the question, why Lesotho over other countries? You know that whenever there's investment promotion going on, every country will say, our country is the best. Come to our country. Why our country? Why not another country? Especially when it relates to Africa. But I must highlight today that Africa holds a good promise for development, not just the development of Africa, but global development. And there are many gateways into Africa. Lesotho is one of the strategic gateways into Africa. Maybe before I go any further, allow me to welcome the ambassador of the Kingdom of Lesotho to Kuwait, who also is in charge of other Gulf countries, such as the United Arab Emirates, to deliver welcome remarks. Please help me welcome His Excellency, Ambassador Bomo Frank Sophonia, to welcome us.
Thank you very much, Program Director. Good morning, everyone. And please allow me to pay my respects to His Majesty King Letsia III, the Right Honorable the Prime Minister Samuel Ntsokwane Matekane, and the Minister of Trade, Industry, Business Development and Tourism, the Honorable Shadile. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and distinguished guests. It is my singular honor and privilege to stand before you this morning and welcome you to the Kingdom of Lesotho in Abu Dhabi. It gives me great pleasure to welcome you to Lesotho's Investment Destination Forum, where we are afforded the unique opportunity to present Lesotho's investment promotion opportunities to you, participants of this year's AIM Congress. My name is Bomo Frank Sofonia, and I'm the ambassador of the Kingdom of Lesotho based in Kuwait and co-accredited to the UAE and other Gulf countries. Today's Investment Destination Forum is led by the Lesotho National Development Corporation, LNDC. The agency is established under the Ministry of Trade, Industry, Business Development and Tourism to promote Lesotho as an attractive investment and sourcing destination of choice for both foreign and indigenous investors. The corporation executes its mandate under the overall policy direction on industrialization as provided by its parent ministry. LNDC's strategic plan, which will officially launch soon, comes on the heels of the extended National Strategic Development Plan, NSDP2, as we popularly know it. One of the key performance areas that directly speak to LNDC's mandate is growth progression. The goal of this KPA is to achieve inclusive, sustainable, and equitable growth and create private sector-led employment for Basotho, that is the people of Lesotho. The aim is to transform the country from a consumer-based economy to a producer and export-driven economy. This is hoped to be achieved through structural transformation of the following productive sectors: agriculture, manufacturing, mining, and tourism. The NSDP2 KPA is aligned with food security and agriculture revolution, industrialization revolution, development finance revolution, and extractive industry revolution. So in closing, these very brief welcome remarks, distinguished audience, allow me to thank you for being here today. Furthermore, I wish to give you my highest assurances on behalf of His Majesty's Cabinet that Lesotho is keen on driving opportunities that will attract investment for mutually beneficial, sustainable economic and business growth. I thank you and wish you an active participation.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency. I think with those wonderful welcome remarks, I can now safely say welcome to the Kingdom of Lesotho. Before we progress with our next speaker, let me just throw in a teaser in there. Did you know that Lesotho is the highest country in the world? Do you know why Lesotho is the highest country in the world? Because it is the only country whose elevation, the whole territory, lies above 1,400 meters above sea level. The whole territory. It goes all the way up to 3,800. I'm highlighting this because we are inviting you to come and experience this elevation as it forms the core of our value proposition, coupled with the terrain of the country. With those few words, I will want to now welcome Advocate Modise Ramaidi, who is the interim Chief Executive Officer of the Lesotho National Development Corporation. He's a lawyer by profession, and he joined LNDC after having held positions in senior management positions in the financial services sector in Lesotho, as well as the telecommunications sectors. Advocate Ramaidi is very optimistic about this era and believes this is the time for youth and women to make their mark, and that they really need the support that will unleash that potential as they participate in development. Ntate Ramaidi, let me welcome you to take us on with the presentation.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, Program Coordinator. Before I can start, let me first acknowledge His Majesty, King Letsie III, the Right Honorable Prime Minister Samuel Tsokwane Matekane, Honorable Minister of Trade, Business Development and Tourism, Mokgethi Shedile, His Excellency Ambassador Bomo Frank Sofonia, ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests, good morning. My name is Modise Ramaidi, and I'm the Chief Executive Officer of Lesotho National Development Corporation. This morning, I'll be taking you through the Invest in Lesotho presentation. Now, before I can start, you can see that we have a tagline there that says, Experience Elevation. What this means is we not only take you high in terms of the altitude of Lesotho, but also we elevate your businesses and we give you access to the rest of Africa through the Africa Continental Free Trade Area Agreement that Lesotho has signed, and also other bilateral agreements such as the Africa Growth Opportunity Act, and also agreements with the European Union, with China, with India. Now, you can see in terms of where we are as a country, where can you find us? We are located in Africa, and to be more precise, in Southern Africa. We have very cold winters. You can see that our mountains are covered with snow. Many tourists say we are the Switzerland of Africa, but I say Switzerland is the Lesotho of Europe. Now, in terms of location, high level there, Lesotho is found on 29 to 30 south latitude and 28 to 30 east longitude, completely surrounded by South Africa. But because of our elevation, we are above South Africa because we are looking down on South Africa. In terms of the climate, temperature is cool to cold. We have dry winters and wet summers. And the zones, we have the lowlands, we also have the highlands and the foothills that divides both the lowlands and the highlands. Now, the capital city of Lesotho is known as Maseru, and the most important fact that you are supposed to know is the elevation. We are 2,161 meters above sea level. Accessibility is very important for business. We are located in the center of South Africa, and we are accessible by air, land, as well as road. Now, the distance to the nearest regional business hubs, as you know, in Africa, we have one of the busiest hubs in Durban. Now, Lesotho is just 600 kilometers away from that hub. We also have a hub in Port Elizabeth in South Africa. We're just 738 kilometers away by road. We also have Cape Town, which is 1,165 kilometers. And Johannesburg, which is the main business hub of Africa, we are just 445 kilometers away from Johannesburg. And by air, you just take a 50 minutes flight to that city. Now, the population of Lesotho is around 2.1 million people. And also the languages that are spoken is Lesotho and English. I should highlight that English is known as the universal business language, and Basotho are very fluent in English. On the literacy, which is highly important for business, we have one of the highest literacy rates in the world of 86.2%. Now the labor force, we are talking about 1.2 million people, because the bulk of our population is the youth from 15 to 35. And that is very important for business, because we do have a labor force that is available for you to operate your companies in country. Nationality, singular, we are Mosotho, and plural, we are Basotho. The economic indicators in the country. In 2015, in terms of our economy, we were sitting at around 3%, showing a positive growth going into 2016. But due to the global recession, our economy started to experience a downward spiral, moving over from 2016 to 2017. And also in 2017 to 2018, we started to see that recovery. But unfortunately, due to COVID-19, which is a global pandemic, there was a downward decline as well in the economy to an alarming negative 6.1%. But because we have a very resilient economy in Lesotho, you're starting to see that V-shaped recovery from negative 6.1% from 2020 going to 4.3% in 2021. And from 2021 going forward, you're starting to see that growth trajectory from 4.3% to 5.3%. And now we have a steady line going into the future. And I should highlight that projections state that Lesotho's economy will continue to grow. So we indeed were a fertile economy for investment. Now, who do we trade with as a country? In terms of exports, in percentage, we're trading 4% with Asia and Oceania, 30% with North America because of the Africa Growth Opportunity Act, 38% with Europe. I just like to highlight that Lesotho has one of the best diamonds in the world. So that, hence you're seeing that 38% trade with Europe. 28% trade with South Africa, because we are surrounded by South Africa, thus we do a lot of trading with the country. Now, in terms of the source of imports, 2% from Europe, North America and Oceania, 14% from Asia, and 84%, which is very high, from the rest of Africa. And this is for our raw materials in the textiles and garments sector. Main export products of the country, water. We pride ourselves with having one of the cleanest water in the world. Lesotho exports bulk water to South Africa to relieve drought and industrial water shortage in the country. And most of the water sources in the region are based in Lesotho. Now the diamonds of the country, some of Lesotho's most valuable stones are auctioned to the US and the European Union. And another fact that I want to highlight on the diamonds, I would like to tell you that the normal price on $1 per carat in terms of diamonds is $50. But the types of diamonds that you get in Lesotho, you're talking about $200 per carat. That just shows the high quality of our diamonds. In terms of main exports again, trout. Lesotho exports trout to Japan, South Africa, and recently we've acquired a market in the United States. Apparel, Lesotho is one of the largest exporters to the US market under our AGOA, and this is a position that we have held for the past 20 years. We have always been in the top 4 in Africa as a country. We are a very productive nation, hence you should invest in Lesotho. Why are we saying this? We are very stable, a free enterprise and free market economic system, which forms the basis for sustained development and growth, a stable and investor-friendly macroeconomic environment. Maybe I should also highlight that last year we had free and fair elections, where there was a transformation of government, a shift whereby the government completely changed, but there was a lot of instability in the country, hence we're an investor-friendly economy. In terms of labor, the labor force is 62.1% of the population, which is highly literate, and we have very competitive wages. Now, why invest in Lesotho? Some of the incentives that we offer: competitive 10% corporate tax on profits generated from the sale of goods produced from manufacturing of goods and agricultural activities in Lesotho, competitive withholding tax on 10% of payments made in respect of services, management services, interest and royalties, taxed only at 15%. Another important issue for an international investor is the fact that we don't charge any withholding tax on dividends distributed from manufacturing income by resident companies to non-resident shareholders. We also have low withholding tax of just 25% on dividends distributed from other incomes by resident companies to non-resident companies. 100% depreciation allowances on investments in the mining sector, and predominantly we're very strong in that particular sector. Low withholding tax of 10% on service contracts with non-residents, as well as research and development expenses are deductible, provided that they're incurred on production income subject to tax. So Lesotho is also very strong and believes in research and development in businesses. Now, the services that we provide through the Lesotho National Development Corporation, I should highlight that we're an investment and trade promotion arm of the government. So some of the services that we provide include investment and trade promotion, also investment facilitation services, industrial relations, and aftercare. It's one thing to make sure that you bring an investor in country, but it's another to retain that investor and foster growth. So through our aftercare services, that's where we provide services such as ensuring that you have the requisite documents to operate in country, to make sure that we deal with all labor-related issues, with trade unions, with employers associations, because we offer that aftercare service and we care for our investors. We also have serviced industrial and commercial sites at highly competitive rates. On this particular issue, I want to make sure that I want to highlight that we want every investor in country to have a soft landing. And it's very important that you have industrial sites that you operate from. So as LNDC, we do provide such sites, and the rates are highly competitive because we don't make profit from our serviced industrial sites. We just break even and make it easy for businesses to have operational premises. Now, we also have a development finance services unit. This is a new department that was established as part of our 2018 to 2023 strategy. I should highlight that here we're fostering access to finance. We know that in every country, in order for business to grow, we need to have access to finance. Now we house different instruments, different financial instruments in our development finance department. To mention but a few, we have equity. Equity is where we are partnering with international investors such as Coca-Cola, where we take shareholding. We also have invested with the breweries together with AB InBev in Lesotho in our Maluti Mountain breweries. We also are a partner with the ShopRite Group and also the Avani Group of hotels, which I know is operating in this part of the world. So I should say that we do take equity to de-risk any project for our investors. We also have the Partial Credit Guarantee Scheme. This is a counter-cyclical instrument in nature. I've highlighted that due to COVID-19, we saw countries' economies declining. So we decided to provide a 75% guarantee to the SME sector for all loans that are disbursed by our commercial banks. And this instrument has been working very well. To date, if I can just give you the figures, from 2021, we have disbursed around 200 million Maluti In the UAE currency, it's about 40.7 million dirhams. In US dollars, we're speaking about 10.9 million US dollars. So those are the efforts that we are making to ensure that our recovery, there's a recovery of the economy in Lesotho. Lastly, we also have the Project Preparation Fund. This is very important for investment because when you invest in a country, you want to make sure that the project you are entering into has a proper feasibility study that has been undertaken. If there's a need for an environmental impact assessment, we do ensure that it is duly undertaken, and we come up with a clear business case that will determine the value to be invested. So we are de-risking projects through our Project Preparation Fund that is housed under our Development Finance Department. Now, these are some of the key sectors that we have in country that we are focusing on. As His Excellency, the Ambassador has stated, we have the National Strategic Development Plan 2, which has been extended up to 2028 by the new government. Key sectors include agriculture and agro-processing, tourism and creative industries, manufacturing, innovation, and technology. Now, what are the priority products that we are focusing on? As a country, because we are looking towards diversification of the economy, in the agricultural sector, we're looking at rosehip, we are looking at herbs and spices, we're looking at processed foods. I've highlighted how clean our water is because we don't have any waterborne or airborne diseases. So we're looking at bottled water. We're looking at fish, pure salmon and trout. We're also looking at deciduous fruits, hemp, as well as medicinal cannabis. It's worth highlighting that Lesotho was one of the first countries in Africa to have a comprehensive legislation that deals with medicinal cannabis. And we also have a company that is EU GMP certified. So it means in terms of exports, Lesotho is already exporting its medicinal cannabis to the EU and other parts of the world. Now, on manufacturing, we're focusing on automotive components. We're focusing on men's high-value garments. As I've stated that we've been strong in textiles and garments. We're focusing on leather and footwear, electronic apparatus, woven fabric mill, ladies' high-value garments, molds in terms of injection or compressed, and hosiery, pantyhose, and tights. Now, what are the unique selling points of the country in manufacturing? We offer a duty-free and quota-free access to the US market under the Africa Growth Opportunity Act, tariff-free access to the South African market. Maybe I should also highlight that South Africa alone has a population of around 60 million people. Now, we are providing an opportunity for investors in Lesotho to have access to that market. And because we are located in Southern Africa, we're also a member of the Southern African Development Community, which has a population of around 370 million people. We are providing access to that market through any investor operating in Lesotho. Lesotho also enjoys preferential trade agreements with the EU and UK, and Lesotho is among the top 4 producers of textiles and garments in Africa and has a well-established footwear sector. This position, we proudly say we've held for the past 30 years. We have a growing position in automotive components, electronics, and electrical products. Some are already being exported to China and the UAE. We have good transport links with South Africa that give us access to wider markets. And under the Africa Continental Free Trade Agreement, 1.2 billion people in Africa provide a market for any investor that does business in Lesotho. Lastly, because of the pure water that we have in large quantities, we have an ideal country for the growth of any industry. In agriculture and agro-processing, what are the unique selling points? We have preferential trade agreements. We are also members of SADC and the SACU, which confers trading benefits for Lesotho, labor availability, and low-cost unit. I already highlighted that 62.1% of our population is between 15 to 31. Lesotho has plentiful supplies of water to support the growth of crops and food processing. The government strongly supports the agricultural sector and also creates an enabling environment for growth. This is part of the key sectors that are highlighted under our National Strategic Development Plan 2. Climate suitability for early harvest of agricultural produce and crops, and we are free of waterborne and airborne diseases. Under one of the key sectors, which is technology and innovation, our unique selling points is that we have very good international connectivity, providing good opportunity for the ICT sector. We also have a youthful enterprise economy. We have graduate qualified pool of labor available for ICT projects of all types. Lesotho's textile sector also provides an opportunity for indigenous fashion design as well as production. And the competitive labor costs for call centers and other business processing outsourcing services. We have good command of English, which renders Lesotho well able to deliver services to global customers. Some of the projects that we are focusing on as the Lesotho National Development Corporation still also aligned to the National Strategic Development Plan 2. We are well in the position now of establishing a special economic zone, which we call the Mafeteng Special Economic Zone. Now, the estimated area in terms of land that we have identified for this particular project, we're talking about 79,000 hectares. And this particular zone will be located 80 kilometers south of the capital town of Lesotho, which is Maseru. In terms of accessibility to other markets, the special economic zone will be located 500 kilometers from the economic hub that I spoke about, which is the port of Durban. And also, we are targeting agriculture and agro-processing, medicinal cannabis, pharmaceuticals, as well as manufacturing under the special economic zone. We are at the final stages now of the special economic zone policy, which will be presented to the cabinet for approval. That is where we'll be giving incentives to all companies that will be operating under the special economic zone. What is the investment for this project? We're looking at a project preparation cost of 580,000 US dollars. And also we are at the stage now where we are procuring services for a master plan to be developed for the project. So on this particular one, we are looking for investors that would like to come to Lesotho to operate in our special economic zone. We also have an industrial park, which is named the Bello Industrial Park Phase 2 project. On this particular project, we have already completed 16 factory shells that will house different investors operating in different sectors. Now we have phase 2 of the project where we are looking towards building 35 more factory shells, and we want the private sector to invest in this particular project. Once complete, the project will create 14,000 jobs in Lesotho and will have 51 factories on site. For this project, we are talking about 55.5 million US dollars. So we're looking for an investor to sign an agreement with the government of Lesotho through the LNDC to invest in this particular project, and we agree on the terms in terms of return on investment. Finally, another key project which is of interest to the country and to also the Lesotho National Development Corporation is the upgrading of the Moshweshwe 1 International Airport. Now, what we are positioning as part of our value proposition for this project is we want to enter into a BOT model, build, own, and transfer, whereby we'll be increasing the handling capacity and improving the quality services at the Moshweshwe 1 International Airport. We also intend to build passenger and freight transport capacity, which will efficiently and safely comply with international civil aviation standards. We need an improved And also we want to expand the airside infrastructure, which is the main runway, taxiways, apron, and the landside buildings and facilities. In terms of the investment amount on this project, we are talking of a total of 13.7 million US dollars. So ladies and gentlemen, with that being said, thank you very much. These are the key projects that we have in Lesotho. Should you have any questions, please feel free to contact us at the Lesotho National Development Corporation. I've given my contact details and email address, and also the contact details and email address of the General Manager, Investment and Trade Promotion. Thank you very much.
Wow, thank you very, very, very much, Maidi. I'm looking at our time, but I'm happy because that was a very insightful presentation. That I do think there may be questions or comments or commitments that need to be made in this place this morning. So to manage our time, I am going to call the General Manager for Trade and Investment Promotion within the Lesotho National Development Corporation, who is going to explain the next steps, because we want to continue with interactive discussions and be able to vacate this room to allow for next meetings. Mayor Makgakge, may I please welcome you?
Wow, ladies and gentlemen, who wouldn't want to experience elevation? Some call Lesotho the kingdom in the sky, others call her the Switzerland of, the Switzerland of Africa, with lofty mountains and high plateaus, plus temperate climate. Program Director, allow me to align myself with the respects that have already been conveyed by the previous speakers in the interest of time. Ladies and gentlemen, it gives me pleasure and honor to close this prestigious session. Allow me to convey special thanks on behalf of the LNDC and appreciate the organizers of the annual investment meeting for working tirelessly in making this event a success. Thank you all esteemed investors for joining us today. I am confident that the investment opportunities we have discussed will be of great benefit to you and your portfolios. I'm already excited to already see potential collaborations, to see you coming to Lesotho to invest in Lesotho. As the Chief Executive Officer has said, Lesotho is a vibrant, growing economy with a diverse range of industries and businesses. We have a strong and educated workforce, a supportive business environment, and a commitment to innovation and growth. We are also well positioned to take advantage of duty-free, quota-free access to US market under AGOA and preferential trade agreements with EU and UK. Lesotho continues to welcome foreign investment, and the door will open even further. Come and experience elevation. The government of Lesotho is committed and dedicated to provide support to industrial development and continually develops and implements programs and reforms to ensure ease of doing business. We have a unique offering with hassle-free regulatory environment that encourages innovation and lowest barriers. We look forward to engagements with you in our endeavor to build a long-lasting, mutual, beneficial relationship. Before I close, ladies and gentlemen, let me just quickly introduce our team with whom you can interact after the session. We have Ms. Tinyani, who is our manager, investment promotion, agriculture, manufacturing. For all questions related to manufacturing, please feel free to contact her after the session. We also have Ms. Nyanguru, Mrs. Nyanguru, who is in the investment promotion agriculture sector. Please also feel free to contact her if you have any interest in agriculture projects. For those of you who would like to have one-on-one with the CEO, our corporate communications manager will take care of that. Please feel free to visit our stall to meet with our CEO. Please also feel free to see Mayor Marina Bizabani, our program director, should you have interest in technology and innovation. This being said, ladies and gentlemen, we thank you. We are hopeful that we will see you in large numbers in Lesotho. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. This brings us to the end of our session. Please feel free to interact with the identity.